there's literally an underground vault full of cheese.
His bed is slowly elevating into the sky.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ARTBOX. Today, we have another one of the founding members of Massing, trumpet player, artist, animator, actor, filmmaker, all around good guy, Heath Holley. How you doing, bud?
I am so good. That was quite the intro. I'm blushing.
I'm sure there's more that I'm missing.
I hope not.
Which, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
I'm Heath Holley, 27 years of age. What about me? I'm from Huntington, West Virginia. I like art. I like music. I do those things pretty often. I went to Marshall University for college, studied graphic design. What else? What else should I say? You said a lot.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are pretty...
filmmaking, you guys do a lot of stuff with Massing, so I mean, we're going to get into everything, really.
Yeah, Massing is kind of just a... what is it, like a hobby laundering scheme for whatever we ever want to do?
Yeah. I was glad to see that last video of Rob. He got the juice sucked out of him, man. He's been juiced.
Yeah. He's still with us, but not for long, honestly.
He's only got so much juice left.
Yeah, and it's not enough juice for the average man.
For those at home, Rob was on, I think, episode 6, possibly. I'm getting lost in the numbers. It's still pretty early on, but he did a great episode. In fact, he told me a lot about like your guys' background that I didn't realize before. So I have a much better idea of like who does what in the band. We have some topics like Sleep Extender, I think, is on here. Yeah. So we have like Sleep Extender on there, and I know what his hand in some of this was, but now we're going to get into like what your side of it is, because I think you have a very interesting background on this stuff.
Yeah, Rob's been lying about everything. So I'm here to set the record straight on just about all of it.
Yeah, he said you're a piece of shit, dude.
I know. I bet he would. He's hiding from the truth.
Well, we've mentioned the band a little bit. Let's get into your background in music. I think I noticed that you have a marching band background.
Little tiny bit, yeah. I did marching band in high school. I guess I started band in middle school. We didn't have a marching band in middle school. And I started band there, and like in 6th grade, they're like, you get to choose your instrument and you get to, start your little journey. And I wanted to be a drummer so bad. But I had just broken my arm. And so my band director was like, dummy, little idiot, better pick something else. And my aunt had played trumpet in high school and maybe college. I don't remember. And so she had a trumpet, so I just took her trumpet and learned how to play that. And I was like, yeah, but you best believe next year I'm going to hit the drums. And I didn't, because I was just good at trumpet. I was...
oh, man.
I mean, like, I was in 6th grade, so I wasn't that good. But I was pretty good, and it was fun. And... I had a drum set that I could play at home, but I never had any like actual like education playing drums, So I just kind of like pissed my neighbors off and kept playing trumpet in school. Got to high school, almost switched to drumline, and then somebody else convinced me not to do that because I was needed on trumpet at the time in the marching band. Everything feels so important when you're in high school, Somebody's like, don't switch, dude. The trumpets need you. this place isn't gonna make it without you on the trumpet, and you're like, you're fucking right.
There was one of those situations for me in show choir madrigals. I never was in it, but the teacher kept. It was like one of those prodigal moments. He pulls me and one of my friends to the side, and he's like, "You guys really got to consider joining. You guys got the voices. You got it in you. I think you'll like it." And I'm like, "Oh, I just I don't have the money for the trips and stuff because I know you guys all fund your own stuff." And he's just like, "Come, I'll pay for that. We'll talk about that later. Don't even worry about it." And it felt so important. I left a note one day in his office during one of our last talks about it. He's like, just wait right here. I'm going to teach you a little bit more, and I'm going to be right back into my office. I'm going to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
And it was like 10 minutes later, I wrote a Post-it note. I was like, I'm just not into it. I'm just not feeling it or something like that.
Did you say madrigal?
Yeah, they call it madrigals at East High School.
Was it like the old, like medieval ass, like stuff? Do you know what I'm talking about? Is that what that is? Okay. No. I was going to say my sister, she did show choir, but they had like a different division of show choir that she did, but she went to Cabell Midland and their mascot was like the Knights. So I think that they just had like a sort of Ren Fair themed show choir. And they would sing like
Gregorian.
Yeah, exactly. They would sing like crazy, like medieval sounding shit, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I was just now thinking, like, did every school do that? Was there like a league? I don't know how show choir. I don't know what choirs call competitions.
That's that Ren choir, brother.
Yeah, it was cool. They had like somebody making all of their dresses and garb. It was stupid. It was crazy. Not stupid and bad, but stupid, like overly complicated. That school had too much money.
So you finished down on trumpet still, though?
Yeah.
You graduated on that?
I graduated on it. Yeah, I mean, like I was playing. I was playing.
That's a weird way to put it, I guess.
I was like, yeah, I didn't do it in college or anything, but I went through high school playing trumpet. And yeah, that's
which is surprising because Marshall actually has an amazing music division, drumline and everything.
Yeah, music just wasn't really what I wanted to study, you know? And doing marching band was, I think that if you study music, you have to do marching band for at least a year or however long. But if you don't have to do it, it is so convenient to not do it. Like there was no way I was going to be able to have like a job, like a summer job that would give me any hours if I had to like be at marching band every weekend, you know, and at the games and stuff like that. So I just didn't mess around with it because it seemed like it was going to be complicated to schedule around. But
plus, the direction you guys went with like guitars and you wanted to play drums and everything anyways, it seems like you could do that on your downtime.
Yeah, that was the thing was I ended up working at this place called Black Sheep and they did open mics every Sunday, and so I eventually just started playing open mics with people, and that's kind of how I got into the music scene. Yeah, I just had a trumpet and I knew how to play it, so I kept playing it. Just not in school anymore, you know?
Right. Well, now you, is that the same trumpet you play in the like music videos and stuff? The one that you're playing now?
It's not the one that I got from my aunt, but it is a trumpet that I got in high school. So
nice.
Yeah.
Which it must be a little different playing it in, I don't really know what to call it. I wrote down alternative band because you guys play so much like stuff, really. But the trumpet and your guys' voices are pretty prevalent in all of it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it is just about the only thing that I really play, and so I just have to make it fit. Like, it's not the most sensible instrument to play in a band like that, but
It sounds so good though.
Thanks.
You must like you craft it in there really well.
It's just kind of like I also want to say that I'm not the best trumpet player. Like I'm not even like awesome at playing trumpet, you know? It's just that not a lot of people do it, especially with music like this. So I kind of just work it in there like it's a lead melody, you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be like a super complicated part, and it's not like I have a horn section to make really cool stuff with. It's just I just have to make it work as a single note playing instrument that functions alongside all these guitars and drums. I don't know.
Which all the songs I've listened to of your guys, I think that's probably the instrument that brings the most emotion out of me, because I think I made a comment like another fucking massing song got me in my feels, and like that's how it feels every time I turn it on. I'm like, I feel like I'm deep in thought again, like back when I was like in high school, kind of, in a sense. Like it puts me in those emotions again. Like in a sense, I'm like, yeah, everything is important.
Yeah.
That's how things feel when I listen to massing. Everything is important.
That's that's kind of like what we go for, I think, is I really like writing songs that sort of undermine a lot of things that are important, or like I don't know what I'm trying to say, just like talk about things that are really important but casually, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
because there can be some deep topics, but you guys end up hitting some like jokes within the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's layered with all kinds of like feelings. There's jokes, there's references, and then there's the core story usually.
Yeah. I yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it.
That gives it a weird description of your guys' music. If you listen to their music, you'll see. You'll find out.
Yeah, you should all go stream massing music right now at least 3 or 4 times per song just to get a really good idea of how it goes. I'm looking dead in the camera right now.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'll put up some. I'll throw up some PNGs maybe. Yeah. We'll see if I do.
Camera B over here. Really... Camera C right there. Yeah, I'm gonna send you 360 video of this whole situation.
Send me all 100 gigabytes of this episode.
No, it's gonna be more than
that. Which we covered a lot of stuff about massing with Rob. And I think I might have asked him this, or it might have been an earlier episode, but do you have any tips on booking gigs?
Like as a band? Like how to get a gig?
Not just massing, but like whatever different like routes you take with like different, I don't know if you're in different bands or if you do solo stuff or anything, but
well, I was gonna say maybe I have a kind of unique perspective on this because I also book shows at a venue. Like I am kind of sort of in charge of a calendar at a venue in Huntington. So
that is a good perspective.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm fairly, like I've been doing that for a couple years, so I'm not like a seasoned veteran when it comes to that, but I can maybe give a couple different perspectives, like from a band trying to do it and also a person trying to book it for the venue itself. For massing, we just kind of I know that like a good thing to have when you're trying to book your band at a venue or like get a gig for get a gig at a show in general, just like baseline. If you like whatever you have online,
get a paying gig.
Yeah. Or, like sometimes it's not even about that. Sometimes it's about just playing a show somewhere you've never played before,
That too.
I should say that, like, you should value your art, you should value your music and what you're worth, but sometimes it's not worth it to somebody, you know? Like, like if you're a band from Delaware and you want to play a show in Denver and nobody at this venue has ever heard of you, they don't need you there. Like, I don't know if what I'm saying is good, but it's like sometimes you have to be willing. Like, especially if you're like a small band. Like if you're a massing sized band, sometimes it's important to just accept that, like, you're playing for a door deal. Unless you've got like really good locals that are playing it with you, you're probably not going to make money the first 2 or 3 times you're going to play at a venue. It's really like from the ground up kind of operation to get a following in any different area. But with that being said, the best way that I've experienced getting gigs in places I've never played before is just like sending an email. You want to provide like any video you have of you performing, I think works really well. Because then you see like, oh, I know what this band looks like. I know what this band sounds like. And it's not just what they sound like on Spotify. This is like what they sound like when they show up to play, you know? So having live video is really good, but also having all of the super polished stuff is really good too. Like if you've got a website, if you've got social media that looks good, an EPK is what they call stuff that you send like with your band bio and pictures and whatever. That's kind of like your press kit that you send to a promoter or whatever to give them everything that they need. Ours is just a Google Drive folder, just full of stuff. Like we've got like a Google Doc with our bio, and there's like a PDF in there of our stage plot, some promo photos, some videos, and we just send that. And we're like, hey, we're seeking dates. This date to this date. Anything you've got? Blah 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 blah, and just hope that they respond. And then from the other perspective that I have, I know that sometimes I see an email and don't know exactly what to do with it right then and there. Like I'll go check a calendar and get distracted and then not go back to that email. And then suddenly there's 20 emails on top of it, you know? So being persistent and following up on an email if you don't get a response is also like, don't be ashamed of having to do that, you know? The worst thing they can say... The worst thing they can say is nothing at all again, you know?
Yep.
So just be persistent and be good, you know? Just like make the email look good. Make your band look good.
Be ready for rejections to almost like nothing, and also rejections, but also, kind of build your following. Yeah. Shoot your shot. You hit a good note with writing it professionally.
Yeah. Another thing that I kind of glossed over, if you're a band and you're trying to play in a new area, it's important that either before or after you get the date secured, find some locals in that area on like Instagram or something, or Instagram or Facebook or however you get a hold of them. Find bands that are cool, that sound like you, that want to play with you, or that would be down, you know, and be like, I'd love to play there if you guys ever want to play here, you know, back and forth like that. And we've done that a few times with like Cincinnati bands and Morgantown bands and Lexington.
A lot of good music that way.
Yeah, this whole like 3-hour radius around Huntington, Charleston is pretty solid.
Creative.
Yeah.
Very creative. While we're still on the topic of shows, do you have any highlights or wild stories from any shows? I played a show once where I was a drummer in a band called the High Vowels, and we played alternative music, and I don't really remember exactly like what the lyrics sounded like and stuff, being a drummer, because like I didn't play with plugs and I never heard this stuff like without me being behind the drums.
Yeah.
But I played the whole show dressed as My Name is Earl one time at this bar. So I got my hair to stand 3 different ways almost, had it trimmed down to just the mustache. And people were about that mustache all night. Not a wild story, but it's a good story.
Yeah. I don't know. Going out of town is always fun. I don't have a super specific story to tell about going out of town. There was one time that we played in Marietta, and when we left to go home, like we were gonna play and then just drive back, but like a blizzard commenced, and our guitarist Corey, he was so absolutely gung-ho about driving home in this blizzard, and everybody else was drunk. So
it was a show night.
Yeah, we had been there for a while and we were just having a good time, and we all knew we weren't driving. So everybody was pretty, they had been getting it done, and we all got in the car and we were like, Corey, maybe we should stay somewhere. And he was like, no, it's good. I've got, my car can definitely do it. And we're like looking through the windshield and we're like we can't even see the road. We don't have any idea. Like we're going 30 miles an hour on the interstate. And we were like, Corey, our friend Wilson, he says that we can stay at his house. It's only like 10 minutes away. He was like, no, I'm just going to go home. I want to get home really bad. And we were like, Corey, please, please don't take us home. It's so scary. And then he got really irritated with us, I think. And then we stopped at Taco Bell and pissed in the parking lot and went to Wilson's house. And that's that story pretty much. We just had a good time chilling at Wilson's.
Much more
in a
epic,
blizzard.
I'm sure.
Yeah, not epic, but it was just
it's still, it's no joke driving when the weather's bad. So I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure it was intense.
Yeah, I think about that story a lot, or not even really a story, but just that show. It was intense.
I like some good stories on the road, the road band stories.
What else? We opened for not Froggy Fresh, but Tyler Cassidy, who is Froggy Fresh. He toured as just himself. It was cool. Rob was in another band that did open for Froggy Fresh, and then a year or two later he came through as Tyler Cassidy, and then we opened for him. That guy is short.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen him standing next to another person?
Not like I couldn't really judge from the angles that I've seen with the videos he did.
He is deceptively short and deceptively ripped. Like he is so buff, but also is like 4 feet tall.
Shredded Froggy, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat though.
Some crispy cream.
I never played any big shows. Nothing wild. I think I got to tell a story about getting an encore to play Freebird once on drums.
Fuck yeah.
In one of the earlier music episodes, but it was usually pretty tame stuff, kind of just like that. More of like the jokes you have with your bros or the community, like when you're talking to them. Like I think I went to a Misfits show once, and I wasn't in the Misfits for anybody listening. I was in the crowd. And but like I showed up to the show and it was a while before they ever went out on, and these girls were just handing out sugar cookies, and like me and my bro are like, bro, we just got these cookies from these emo girls and we have no idea who this is and who they are, and these could be tainted, bro. They could have a hex on them, bro. Emo girls.
Cookies are cursed.
Straight teen witches, bro, gave us some cookies, and it was an awesome time. So it's like, yeah, we just got cookies, but
I was gonna
that's the
say, were
way
they
we
just
toast them.
cookies, just like some Kroger
Yep,
ass sugar cookies? Hell yeah, those are so good.
totally. Yeah, yeah. With the Columbia is actually like right next to Kroger. But yeah. Let's. I think we're gonna skip. We're gonna hit the next section a little bit because we already know a little bit of this now. You went to art school, right?
Yeah, I mean, I went to Marshall that had an art department. I don't know. I feel like some people have like a distinction between art school and then like a university with an art department. But yeah, I studied art.
Yeah.
You know.
Took a few of them classes.
Yeah. I like.
Well, this shows in your work, really.
Thank you.
Really good stuff. If anybody hasn't checked it out, go watch the fake Pokemon episodes that we do with the Lemon Squid, and check out your Instagram in general because you're right now doing sticky note commissions as well.
I've had some people reach out to me about doing commissions, but right now I'm just kind of like drawing on Post-it notes, and I actually
they're so gnarly.
I bought these like frames.
Yeah,
they're kind of wonky, right? But they're like clamshell, and they have. It's not a real frame, right? Like some people don't even use them for pictures. Like it's like a weird stretchy cellophane film kind of thing. So you can put like something with. I don't have...
Oh, do people heat them? They heat them to put like products in them or whatever?
I don't know, but you can like I could put a rock in here and then there would just be a rock suspended but in this frame, you know?
Yeah.
But I
thought they had to be heated or something.
No, I don't think so. But it does sort of act like it's been heated, like it's got that sort of like vacuum seal kind of vibe. But I got these for super cheap, and I had been looking for like just frames that I could get for Post-it notes, and I wasn't looking for something so cheap, but I found something so cheap, and then I was like, I'll just sell these for super cheap. And so now I just find some time every now and then to just draw with a pen, which I don't do anymore because most of everything I do is on the iPad.
Right.
So that's been nice.
Looks like you've been doing some different colors across different Post-it colors, right?
Yeah.
That's what's making them so cool.
These are the
people should go check them out.
Tiny guys. It's just like whenever you buy like a stack of Post-it notes, you know. I prefer
tiny,
the like highlighter yellow color.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, but I'll get to the pink and the blues again someday.
And this is such a small little ditty of your art career right here that we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to like.
It's kind of funny.
I'm trying to. I don't have a way to show you. I have so many of these just chilling here, because I'm trying to like, sort of, make a stock, if that's the right word, like an inventory, so that I can start tabling or something, you know? Because I don't.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I started after high school, getting into like art events and things, was like I started tabling with my friend Soraya at the Huntington Music and Arts Festival. And back then it was kind of just like I was taking things that I had drawn digitally, slapping them on a background that I made with like the utmost haste. Like didn't really try to do anything, but I was just like, here's a wacky guy on a wacky background, and I printed an 11x17 of it, and here you can buy one for like $10 or whatever. And that usually went really well whenever we did that. But then I just kind of got involved in other stuff and stopped doing that. But now I kind of want to do it again, but with something that's not just like exclusively prints, you know? And I like this because they're like cute.
I think if you had a table with prints and those, and then doing them on the fly too while you're there, if you wanted. I see Lemon Squid from the first episode, Austin. He does a lot of on the fly art at his table, and it keeps him busy.
I have a drawing.
I watched him all day.
Yeah, I've got a drawing that he did at one of those tables. He did like a minute drawing or whatever for like way too cheap. I don't remember how much he was charging for those, but he gave me one, and it's just like a penis with like big buff flexing biceps. It's so sick. And I have to explain myself every time we have like a plumber or an electrician come. Hell yeah.
That's the one he did in me.
How long did he do that in?
He did that in 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So he had a few extra minutes on that.
I was going to say, that's so much more detailed than my buff dick. Am I allowed to say buff dick on this podcast?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding.
You can
you're
use
good.
AI to change everything I say. I give you permission.
He said, purple cheeseburger.
Yep.
No, that's fine. We've already broken that barrier a while back.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you should start tabling again if you're feeling it. That's I don't know if the season has come and passed, but like, you know, like the warm festivals.
Yeah.
But like, that's a good time to build your inventory, though.
Yeah,
like you were saying.
I'm hoping to at least get some stuff ready for like Christmas. I like to do something like last year. I did weird like vector art portraits for Christmas, and I made a bunch of money that kind of paid for my own Christmas gifts that I needed to do, my Christmas shopping.
Nice.
So it's always fun to come up with like a little scheme, get some extra holiday money.
That's how it feels, but like I did a doodle portrait sale where it's just like $5 on Cash App. If you have Cash App, hit me up and I'll hit you back with that profile picture.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it was, a bust up, just doodle line work. So not too serious, even though it did take me like 2 hours, you know, to like do them. Like, I'm like, I want it to look like the person, but it has to look so simple.
Yeah. Yeah, I just did.
So it actually did take a little longer.
I just did like these, like very geometric, like simplified portraits. Like if you squint, they all almost look the same, but I tried really hard to make them all look unique and like the people that they were of. But like the fact that they were just all made out of like shapes, like rounded rectangles and stuff. It was kind of easy to do, minus like some tedious, like, oh, this person's eyebrows aren't right. This cat looks like, I also included pets. So I was there like trying to make cats and dogs look correct. And, it was cool. I don't know if you've seen those. They're like in my Facebook buried somewhere probably.
No, I haven't seen those. I did, the same thing though. When I opened it up to like portraits, people are like, "We throw the cat in, we throw the dog in."
Yeah,
I'm like, "Yeah, I got you. I'll figure that out." The hardest part for me on the simple doodles was actually figuring out people's like face piercings because they didn't translate because the characters don't have noses.
Mm-hmm.
So like nose piercings looked like a piece of macaroni stuck on a 2D surface. You know?
Yeah.
I was like trying to figure those out. But like, that's the thing is like, if someone else was already doing it or someone was doing it like themselves, like then it would be no big deal. But like, obviously, like you're the one who came up with it. You're the one with the talent and the vision. You like, you know, execute it in the end. So like, don't discredit doing some of the simple or cheap stuff just because it's simple and cheap.
No,
People
I'm
love
all
it.
about it. I'm all about just like making, like if you're gonna I like to use the word scheme. If you're gonna do like an art scheme, you gotta be efficient with it, because the thing is, like, people don't especially like around here, like we do not live in a place where people have a shitload of money, you know. So if you can sell art for like $10 to $50, it should be, the time should be as worth it to you as it is to them, you know? So if you can figure out a good way to make everybody happy and also like make it efficient for yourself, there's nothing wrong with that, you know? That's just, you shouldn't have to kill yourself to make some art for people if they're going to like it either way, you know?
Yeah, it can get really stressful when you start doing like more like elaborate commissions and projects. And it's nice to actually just have those quick exercise. They almost feel like exercises the more you just do them. And it feels good to move on. It's like part of the process. You've actually learned and grown from doing what may seem simple, but like, you've burned through 30 portraits at this point, and it's like, that's a style. That's a whole series,
Yeah, that's the thing is like, it becomes like each one becomes a piece in a series, and it's like, this was a little chapter of my art life that I did all at once, and here they are. Like, it doesn't matter how much time you spend on each one. It's like a whole thing that you did,
Yeah. Speaking of which, taking it easy, not getting stressed out by, the art grind. Let's derail this bad boy. Let's derail this episode. Never been done. Off the grid.
Let's stand in front of this train.
Yeah, I was told you were going to derail it, but you never did.
What? Did I say I was going to derail it?
Basically. You said, I'm going to be anti-ARTBOX, basically.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. In fact, since I've changed the shirt today, I filmed so much with this stuff that I'm just taking it a little easier. Like I said, this is the first time I've looked at the notes. It's been about a month since I've done an ARTBOX episode. And I was thinking, what would be a good way to just juice up the episode? Let's juice the episode, dude. Let's have fun. So, Heath Holley, what is your favorite conspiracy theory?
Ooh.
Yeah, let's juice it.
I do love conspiracy theories.
Nice. I'm glad.
I like the idea that there is something going on with fluoride.
Oh,
I love thinking like, what does the government do to control us?
What do they do? Yeah.
And, like fluoride is a very literal, like, they feed us a chemical that controls our brain. Like, that's probably not true. But just like, what studies have been done that like the government or, like Big Brother or whoever the entity is, what have they done? Like, what do they know about the human brain that they use? In the same way that like social media knows that like, oh, we love seeing little red hearts. We love seeing that our friends commented on something that we had to say, and that we keep coming back for it. Like, how does the government, how do the powers that be know how to manipulate our brains to do what they want us to do?
Oh yeah, insane. Yeah, there's an insane amount of like mental manipulation, like analytics that they have, I'm sure, for this kind of stuff, because you've heard of all kinds of that stuff, controlling the narrative essentially, whether it be through subliminal advertising of commercials or products, even weird things that connect Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl to the it's like, well, I bet she's going to be playing the halftime show. She didn't play the halftime show, but people were starting to theorize.
Yeah. Like,
it's all very interesting.
Even, not to get political, but I've just been keeping up with like election stuff, as like Kamala and VP Waltz. I watched like Tim Waltz's sort of like, I'm the vice president nominee now, or whatever you call him. And his like whole 20-minute speech about that, and then seeing all the coverage that came in afterwards, and how much they are like pushing words like joy in reference to Kamala, like this overwhelming sort of like, any time that we talk about the Kamala Waltz administration or the Harris Waltz administration, like you will hear the word joy and happiness and like, just like super positive words that like, when I think about it, I'm like, well, that's super heavy handed that they keep like he used the word joy and joyous like 4 times in that speech. And I was like, man, we get it.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think as a creative, the farther I've gotten into like some of this branding and thumbnails and search engine optimization,
Yeah.
I realized the copy that is taking place within those campaigns. Like they run copy on Joy, like that's I wouldn't be surprised if there's some art like with the the promotional aspect of them mixed with that word or synonymous words like that.
I was thinking about it.
And I think as a creative, you start to realize these patterns and certain trends that start shifting upwards. Like, why is everybody talking about, so-and-so at the moment? And then there'll be a conspiracy theorist that says that's because they want you to look away from this.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorites, by the way, is the Denver airport.
What is that one?
I don't know if you know much about that one.
Is that the one with the horse?
There's a lot going on there. Yep.
That's the one with the big crazy horse statue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucifer. Yeah, the guy who was making it died in the middle of making it, and the horse's head came down and fucking killed him. And they still finished the statue and put it in the airport.
I don't know.
So they called it Lucifer.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the guy died making it. And then it gets weirder because they kept that. And then there's like Freemasonry, like symbology and like stuff all over the place. That's almost normal, like for some of these kinds of things, the way they explain it. But at the same time, there's murals all around the airport that have like Hitler and like I know Hitler's a part of it. That's the weird part to start with, but it gets weirder. Like in the murals don't make sense. Like what is this?
I've watched. I've watched a video on that, but I haven't seen it in a while. It might have even been like a Watch Mojo compilation of like the craziest conspiracy theories or something. But I do remember the horse statue, and I remember the murals, and maybe some weird history stuff about it. But
there's one more thing. Cause the overall idea is that, well, we'll start with the surface level. We'll iceberg this out a little bit. Is that for some reason the airport is insanely large for its size and like area, so it has the area to take on extra jets and airplanes in case of like emergency. So they're like, it's I guess public knowledge that this is where the president goes in like a state of emergency, and that they think underground even further, like that's where the president goes, but even further than that is where we get into Agartha in the center of the earth.
What?
So, yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like that's, how do we know anything about that?
So like, I can't, we know that the president has a backup, like, I don't know what you call it. Don't flag me, too. This is weird. I've never talked about this kind of stuff. I've never done this before. But that he's supposed to, or they are supposed to go there in a state of like emergency. Like that's kind of like a lay low.
Because bunker. Their bunker.
Highly guarded. Yeah, a bunker. Yeah. Let's say that's underground. But even further under that ground is where they say the lizard people were.
Hell yeah.
And that you can get to the center of the world. Yeah.
God.
And that kind of leads into Hollow Earth theory. Which is insane.
Well, the Earth can't be hollow if it's flat, which it is.
True.
So.
But that doesn't discredit the government cheese, which I found out was a real thing. Have you heard of that?
I have not heard about the government cheese.
Well, it used to be like a term for like just like getting money from the government.
Yeah.
Well, at a certain point, it becomes food stamps and getting cheese. But it actually is a literal thing that I didn't know about, that farmers overproduce on milk and cheese and stuff and all this. So they had to stockpile it a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
To where there's literally an underground vault full of cheese. And it's like, that's where it cycles through.
I know
that cheese goes out first, and the new cheese goes into the vault.
That's crazy.
Because that's how far back it went, and the fact and like that actually dictates like our economics.
And so these are just conspiracy theories. There's not actually like for sure 100% a vault of government cheese.
There is.
There is.
Yeah, that's actually that. Yeah, that's a real one.
So okay, so it's not a. That's just a wacky cheese fact. Okay.
Yeah, wacky cheese facts. This is ARTBOX wacky cheese facts.
You should have a wacky cheese fact every episode.
I'm gonna think about that one for sure. I've been wanting to juice these up a little bit.
Yeah, don't even like give the guest any chance to anticipate a wacky cheese fact. Just be like in the middle of the interview, just be, oh, did you know that squeeze cheese was invented by Prince?
Hey, a lot of people don't remember blue butter. Do you remember that?
No.
They did blue butter, green ketchup.
I remember purple
about
ketchup.
4 years younger than me. That might be what I'm thinking of. Purple ketchup.
There's probably
those novelties are just so weird.
Yeah, I think maybe there was like a Shrek green ketchup or something. But I do remember purple ketchup.
If there isn't, now's the time. Shrek 5, baby.
Yeah. Do you remember
stoked?
Wacky cheese fact? Do you remember Burger King? They had a kids meal that you could like pour a powdered cheese into. Like you leave your fries in the bag and then you pour like a packet of powdered cheese in it and you shake it.
No, I don't remember that.
It was fucking delicious. I've never seen anybody do anything like that since, so I don't know what kind of cancers it caused, but it was so good.
That is a wacky cheese fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You remember those Shrek cups from Burger King, I think?
Yeah, it's probably McDonald's. I know that they do.
I think it was McDonald's.
Don't they have like lead in them
the
or
glass
something?
ones. Yeah, they were carcinogenic.
Yeah.
And as soon as I found that out, which was this past year, my brain went Spider-Man mode. It was trickling back through all my memories of all the glasses I've seen like within the past 10 years, like at everyone's house. I'm like, why does nobody know?
Yeah, like you can't be drinking out of those. We're all gonna die of cancer.
So I'm sure. Yeah, it'll be the Shrek cups that got all of them.
Yeah.
Well, Shrek cups is what took them out. That's what took them out.
That's what the archaeologists will say.
We'll reel it back in a little bit. We spoke about your history a little bit on film, which I want to open up with something I learned since I wrote these notes. I've watched Hero.
Jesus
and
Christ.
I've watched... I found the other one too. I don't remember the name of it, but it was technically like stop motion. I don't know what you call that.
Oh yeah.
The frames were super
yeah, it was like a stop motion thing.
Which is very interesting. That was awesome. Hero was very interesting as well.
Yeah, those were both school projects. For college stuff. One was for an art class, like the stop motion one was for an art class, but then the Hero one was for a film class that was like the English department had film classes, and I got a minor in film studies because of some English classes that I took, but we had like a class called Good Films where you just kind of like watch movies and you kind of like learn the sort of language behind like how movies are made and how to analyze them and stuff. And I honestly, like, that video that I made was not indicative of anything I learned in that class. It was just kind of like, oh, one of my options at the end of the semester is I can make a video, so I'm gonna do that. And it was, I don't like that video. I watch it sometimes and I'm like, wow, this is probably handled insensitively and could have just been made. It was an interesting
route. I didn't expect you to like, obviously it's adolescents at play here a little bit, but like it was a strong subject topic mixed with some really slapstick type deal. Rob was really good in that. I remember he's the guy who lives there.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Which I didn't know that. That's awesome. I thought I didn't know it was for school because like you could see that there was things that you were exercising.
Yeah.
So like the stop motion with the other one, and then story and camera angles. Like you could tell all the filmmaking was in there, even though it is what it is. I have really bad like skits and stuff, so don't worry about that.
Yeah,
We all grow.
I am pretty proud of that stop motion one still. That was like a really early like introductory class, and we had to make a stop motion video. And I don't know if you remember, but the part where I think it's Hunter, he's my friend Hunter, and he throws a trash can lid almost like Captain America or something, and then it like flies through the air. I remember my professor like immediately paused the video when he showed it in class and was like, how the fuck did you do that? And it was
I kind of have the same question about the microwave, because the microwave does the same thing. I was like, what?
It was honestly like I probably could have thought of a better way to do it, but I was doing it in such a small amount of time. I just put it, I think both of those things I put on a desk, and I just moved the desk, right? And then I photoshopped the desk out of every frame. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, like if you go in there and watch it really closely, you can see that like underneath those floating objects, the background looks a little wonky. But it gets the job done, you know, for a school project.
Yeah. I was thinking about that recently, and like if you don't notice, if someone couldn't notice something, like there's no way they would have noticed something on the first watch through, then that means it worked. If you have to, if it's totally obvious the second time, well, that's because you've already experienced it and you know the magic and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I did something with this video where I had to do some Evil Dead stuff, and I'm the only one with the camera. So like I needed objects to move while I'm drawing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had to rig up strings and shit. And I'm like, you can see that, but like I'm also in the edit. So I'm like, if you're watching it like from beginning to end, you're not going to be expecting the lamp to like turn around and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a fun video if you've ever seen The Evil Dead.
I actually
but
haven't.
Yeah, if it works the first watch through, then it's all golden.
Hell yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of movies, like classic movies, that I just never saw, still haven't seen. It used to be that I had a hard time watching old movies because I could just tell that they were old, and I couldn't get past that. You know? It was like, this looks bad in comparison to new things. This acting is bad in comparison to new acting. But now that I like have had time to kind of like explore those things. What is it?
The mixing is so different than the way it used to be.
It's just
that's honestly what usually drives me nuts. I'll go back and watch something like The Evil Dead, which is low budget to begin with, but like the mixing is like, it is what it is for the time, and they did a great job. But it's like you won't catch those like that grit from new stuff. You have to go out of your way to kind of do that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but like lately, the past 5 or 6 years, I'd say I've just respected history in general a lot more than I used to, like in school. And I think that I just think it's more interesting now to like see the gradient of how things progress over time, you know. And
that's definitely a franchise to watch grow from beginning to end, because they had the first film that was like, I think the 80s, and then they most recently had Ash versus Evil Dead, which was like probably like 5 years ago or so.
Yeah.
So they ran that character for a long time, and then there's apparently an animated thing coming out. There's always talks of something more Evil Dead coming out, which the remakes or the reboots, the one shots that came out, like there was an Evil Dead Rise this past year. That was awesome, dude. You don't have to watch any Evil Dead franchise to get those. So if you like horror, that's what that was. I'm not a horror buff. People may think that, like a lot of times. I just love The Evil Dead and Bruce Campbell. He's such an idiot and he's an asshole, but he's also the hero. So like he gets the girl, even though he doesn't even like, he hasn't respected the whole fucking story and he just wants to go home.
Yeah.
He wants to be left alone to drink a beer or something. And I've always and they mixed horror with slapstick is what they did. So it was very interesting.
Yeah.
And the more it's gone on, the more horror and serious it actually got mixed with the slapstick. It was pretty wild. But you've got we've talked about Sleep Extender with Rob. Mm-hmm. What's your perspective on that film? How was your time with that?
I had a really good time doing Sleep Extender. Sorry, I got a notification. My girlfriend bought some bologna. Accidental
Hell
bologna.
Yeah.
She put in an Instacart order and accidentally got some bologna. Or maybe they accidentally gave us some bologna. I don't know. I'll have to find out later. Which reminds me, I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. The question was Sleep Extender, right?
Yes.
What was I just saying?
Your experience with the Sleep Extender, your perspective. How did it go?
That was part of the Huntington Music and Arts Festival. They do a 72-hour film sprint every year. And I've always thought that would be so fun to do, and I've never gotten a chance to do one. Which is just where you get 72 hours to make a short film, you know? They give you like 2 words to make sure that you can't like really work on it beforehand. So they give you 2 words to base your film around, and then you just fire it off, and then you have to submit it by, you know, like noon at the end of the weekend or whatever. And that was so fun. Like we got like a little crew together, and like as soon as we got our words, which I think were bed and extend, we started a group chat, and we just started rapid firing like ideas that we could base a story around. And I spent so long like at lunch just like, what are some stupid, like we knew it had to be dumb. We knew it had to be like amassing.
It's really
brand.
Good though.
Yeah. Some of the ideas were bad.
It's like professional amassing. Like, yeah, that's it. I was like, this is a movie for sure. And it's funny in the way that you guys do comedy. It's your guys' style. Without the pee jars and poop jars that we talked about on the last episode. We also talked about Sleep Extender because I really enjoyed it. So the jokes and the character, like the guy who sells Sleep Extender, basically, like his personality, that came, I'm sure, through some of the acting, but like the dialogue was written by you guys, and it was really funny.
Rob is like so good at writing scripts. I don't know how. I don't know. I know that he took a screenwriting class in college, I think. But he is just so good at like crafting a good story with like, what's that called? I don't even know what it's called. Like the plot,
structure.
Yeah. Like the climax and everything. And he's just so good at making it good and inserting like good jokes at places that make sense.
Yeah.
Like, he's just good at it. Every time I read something like that he writes, I laugh out loud when I'm supposed to, and then I'm like, I get to the end and I'm like, wow, that's just so good. Spoiler for Sleep Extender, I'm just gonna say the plot. Is that cool? Because what I want to do is I want to read you some of the other ideas that I found the note where I was just like drafting some ideas for the words extend and bed.
And hopefully I pitched it last time. Anybody who wants to go check it out, I think I put it in the description of the last video with Rob. But I'll go ahead and put Sleep Extender in this one too, because I think more people should go and check that out. So
dope.
Yeah, tell us anything about it.
Well, if you're going to do that, I'm not going to spoil it. Let me just say that we made a short film using the words extend and bed as like the premise for the plot. Like we had to base the plot around those two words.
Gotcha.
So the other ideas that I wrote down that day, main character is cursed to slowly grow beyond average human height and is in constant need of replacement beds until they end up needing to sleep in hallways, sleep outside, etc. That was idea number 1.
That's a good one, but a hard one to do on a budget.
Some special effects for sure, like some camera trickery.
Yep.
Number 2, main character wakes up from his slumber to see that his bed is slowly elevating into the sky. We could use the green screen and some drone footage, maybe. These are just like notes I put. Miniature airplanes, ? Could be a lot like Castaway with Tom Hanks.
Oh, wow.
But in the sky.
Yeah.
Man with small penis is miraculously accepted into human testing for the bionic dick. This obviously turns into a cleverly censored cyborg horror movie.
I'm not sure. I was trying to get bed and extend. I'm trying to find bed and extend in there.
I think it's like eventually I just kind of converted the word bed into like sex, you know?
Yeah.
Just for the sake of.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, like some of these are just about dicks.
So that was like
sex.
future. Oh man, yeah. If anybody actually got to see the full sketchbook I did for that endless creativity hack video, there's plenty of pages I took out and skipped over. So it's a lot like that.
Yeah. Trying to think of. This one is funny, I guess. Woman hopelessly in love with her new husband is horrified to learn that he can't get off unless a woman's breasts are incredibly long. She goes through the process of learning to become an illusionist before she enters human testing for the bionic boob, which was just a different idea from the bionic dick one.
Yeah. He said, let's gender flip this.
Yeah. Man obsessed with new hobby of woodworking cannot help but to lengthen his and his wife's bed each day, which causes issues in their marriage. And then couple buys a pull-out couch because relative is coming into town. As they pull out the bed for the first time, they see that there is another mechanism to pull out another section of the bed and another until they pull out the couch to its full extent and are met with a dark abyssal pit. They hear someone screaming deep from within. It's their relative. They jump in only to find out that the relative fell into this hole the night they slept on the couch, and it's a pull-out couch time loop.
Oh. That would be interesting.
That one would be dumb. I don't think that one would have worked.
I think I like the idea of a time loop within the pull-out couch, though.
Yeah,
I like that idea. That's got legs, like a short film.
Yeah,
I like those time loops.
Time loops, it's interesting, but I feel like when you get to the end of a story about a time loop, it doesn't feel like it paid off. You know?
Yeah, I can relate to that because like obviously we both thought of it. When my only trouble with like actually starting one of them, because I've written a few like short films like in my books, but anytime I've thought about doing a time loop, I'm like, I just don't really know where to start to make sure it goes, but I've never tried. So it's like, I think that would be a good creative exercise.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
You have to like
that's
be able to.
That's the impressive part of them.
Yeah. You have to be able to wrap your head around a time loop and also like convey it in a way that everybody watching it or reading it or viewing it or whatever can also wrap their head around in a way that feels good.
Yeah, because you have to treat your audience well. Like,
yeah,
and it has to make sense. That's the part where I'm like, making it simple and easy for the audience would be pretty easy for me, but making it make sense is the part that I'd be worried about, making sure the details.
For sure.
Because like that's one of those things people just rip apart.
Mm-hmm. I mean, nobody's gonna rip apart the 72-hour film challenge videos, but
that's true. Yeah,
if you've got like
there's another one going on right now, isn't there?
Is it going on right now? I should know that.
You're on the list as a band.
What?
For the festival.
How do you know this?
And then I do my research on my guests.
Oh,
and then 2 days later, there's like a 72-hour film festival, isn't there?
Yeah. I thought you meant that we were on a list of participants for the film challenge, and I was like, what?
No, I looked to see though.
Yeah, it's gonna happen the last week of this month. The Huntington Music and Arts Festival. I'm not sure when those start filming, like when the actual challenge begins. And I'm not gonna look it up right now, but it's it's in an email somewhere. But I'm not sure if we're doing it again this year or not.
You're definitely performing for that. For the weekend.
I think that the screening of all those films is on Tuesday, and then we are performing downtown on Friday. But there's stuff going on all that week for the Huntington Music and Arts Festival.
Yeah. It looked packed. Yeah, that's the first time I got to see like their itinerary for like how this thing goes.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I was like, okay, massing. Wait, the 72-hour challenge that Rob was mentioning is on there? I didn't realize it was all together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an awesome event that I wish that they kind of had around here. I've been talking about putting together, 1-day event, maybe a 2-day event where it's music and art, and then some way for us to actually showcase the films on screen for that's a lot of stuff you'd have to organize, but I'd love to be a part of something like that. And doing those creator challenges are like really good for your creator muscles.
Guess what?
What?
You can.
Whoa. Oh, right. Yeah, I could send it in, huh?
Yeah, you could. Anybody can be a part of the 72-hour film challenge. There actually used to be a young child that would send like stop motion Lego videos every year. This was super cute. But they also have a bunch of vending opportunities if you're interested in doing that.
Yeah.
Or if anybody watching is interested in vending, you can
the Huntington Music and Arts Fest.
Yeah. Come party.
We'll burn through a couple more of these that I got. I think I already know some of the answers, but let's hear it from your mouth. What's it like working with Rob Coleman?
Sucks. I hate him.
Thought so.
I hope he gets sick and dies.
You going for that spot?
Yeah, I'm trying to be Rob. I'm trying to wear his
Cultivate
skin.
Him. Yeah.
He's fine. He's fine.
It's fine. That was even better attempt. He's fine.
He's fine. I mean, it's like whatever. No, he's great. He takes everything I do and makes it better. You know.
You guys work so well off each other.
It's a miracle, I think, that I met Rob, because we just do get along so well. And like some of the things that what am I trying to say? Like if I feel like I'm having a bad idea, or I feel like an idea that I have is questionable, it's like he is able to like counter it with just the right amount of other stuff to make it good, you know? Like, I don't know. Like I always say that like whenever we're working on something and it's just the two of us working on it, it's like him and I are like the perfect like two filter system to strain the ideas through, and then once they go through both of us, it ends up being a pretty good thing, you know?
Fluid.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just
No, I get it.
I love working with Rob. He's the best. I've never felt more proud of the things that I do than when I do them with Rob, I think, you know?
Even the short form, like smaller stuff, we talked about some of that. Like those are pretty awesome. And then, like you said, you know, some of them, he's like, yeah, we'll go low effort on some of them because we do so many other high effort things that it gives us a wide range for our audience to like of expectation. So that gives you guys like a floor to play around with a lot of things, and then go high like on production on one thing, and then which all of them still look awesome. Like the shorts look awesome.
That's I feel
you know what I mean. Like the green screen's perfect.
Yeah, like I think that's the thing is that like low effort for us is still more effort than somebody should put in. So anybody that's sane should put in for something that we're doing. Like if we're just promoting, the
audio is always good, and then like everything's always lit.
Like we'll be like, hey, we need to make a video or something to promote that we're playing the hot dog festival or something, and we'll make a video on a green screen and animate something for it, and Rob will totally mix the audio. We've bought like lav mics for it and shit, and that's a low effort video, or that's like a low effort piece of content for us. And
that'll still take like, days sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, like that's like for Sleep Extender, I would have spent so long editing that if I hadn't been restricted to the 72 hours. But like for something like one of those green screen videos, it's like I know like the standard is that we get in front of the green screen, we film it, and then we edit it and post it. And I know that because it's supposed to be pretty low effort, I'm not gonna spend as long as I want to make it look good, but I am spending any effort at all, so it ends up looking okay. Does that make sense?
Well, I know you guys are capable of hyper edits, basically. I think you know what that means. Like, you're very capable of those because I've seen it like within your animation and stuff like that. Like, I know sound designs and stuff like that. So I think I know
what is a
hyper
like, edit?
Layering a lot of sound designs, a lot of text on screen.
Okay.
Lots of cuts.
Yeah.
You know how to peel that back and just get it done and make it funny and good. It's still really good.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to, like, you could always add more stuff into it.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it feels on everything.
Yeah, I've never heard that term, I don't think. Hyper edit.
Yeah, I would refer to like the most recent one I did, me painting that octopus. The audio actually came out really badly, so that counts against what I'm saying. It doesn't seem like a really good edit, but other than that, I pulled my face into little circles and all. Like I did so much like cropping and editing, and I'll put the like. There's never a moment you don't like see my face at the same time as the painting, and
like the
too much work.
Like like the like here's what I'm doing, and then like cuts to a video of you painting, and like the camera is like digitally pushing in, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I have digital pushes.
I think I know what video you're talking about specifically, but
yeah, I threw animations in there too, like for my hands. When I pull them in, you'll see like little streaks of white, and then like underline. So I did animations for it too. It's like you don't have to go that hard.
yeah, but it's fun though to go hard. Can I drink this Corona on camera?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, good. Sneak it in.
No, I don't want anybody to know that
might
I drink Coronas.
Oh, right. It's the brand thing.
I'm sober.
Well, we've talked about Rob, and I think we know. I talked to him about collaboration a bit. And it shows with you being on the show. We've talked about how you guys work well together. Other than working like well with others and in a band, do you have any tips for people on being a better creator? Because I notice when you go at artwork, I've said this on the Fake Pokemon show, obviously all four of us bring something different to the table, especially in style and, coloring choices and all that. But the ideas, as soon as I see your ideas hit the paper, I'm like, I would have never freaking thought of that in a million years. It's like seeing Rick and Morty for the first time. You know what I mean? It's like one of those routes. It's like here's a route we could take, and then here's like you always like have the options open. And I think that's one of the like things that I want to know is how do you have that connection to ideas that people don't usually have?
I don't know. That's a good question. I do think. What is it?
Just like and it doesn't have to be specifically about that, but just tips for being a better creator. Because I think if people follow some tips that you have, they may be able to open some of these doors.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think that I have some sort of weird access to ideas.
Yeah.
I am really good at taking like a problem, you know, like, oh, I need a ground and rock type Pokemon, you know.
That's the situation I think it keeps coming out in, is where you keep getting forced into corners. It's like 72 hours, and then fake Pokemon due by this day.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just like being like, okay, here are my parameters, or like here's what I need to accomplish at the end of this. Let me doodle a bunch of different ideas, like here's one idea that I have off the top of my head. What's something that's like different from that? And then what's something that's different from that? And then I just kind of do that until something feels good, and run with whatever one I like the most, I don't know why. I know that like in school...
It seems like a lot of them might come to you like when you do those sticky note post-it ones. Do those just like you don't have to revise them sometimes? Do you just like get them straight out? Like that one works like that.
Yeah, like those are all just straight pen drawings. So I'm just... So I mean,
not
like
a whole
there's
lot of redos.
I mean, there's plenty of them that I get to the end and I'm like, this fucking sucks. I'm not putting that anywhere. I'm throwing that away.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, like I just like, what's the word? I don't know. Just like going. I just like moving and drawing. Whatever comes out, comes out. If I fuck up,
moving
I fuck
on
up.
to the next thing. To hit the goal.
I like to, like, especially with the Pokemon videos and stuff. I'll be like, okay, here's a sketch of an idea. That's that. Select, move over here so that I have it for reference and I can look at it. Here's a new idea. Move that beside that one. That's just how I work. I know that like in graphic design classes, I had a professor named Kyle Dyer. He's great. And he would always make us, like whenever we had to do a logo project, he would be like, I want to see 100 thumbnails of like sketches for logos. Like if this is what you're making a logo for, I want to see 100 like small sketches of what that logo could look like. Like before we ever touch a computer, basically. And sometimes it would be 100, sometimes it would be like 300. And it's just like, how many times can you work within a parameter to make something new, And I hated doing that, but I think that is maybe like kind of where I get that tendency from, is just like,
you have it. I see where your access comes from, like in a sense that I did in reference to this, I did Inktober for like 3 years in a row, but like when I wasn't doing Inktober, I was still nonstop like painting and stuff. But doing those specifically, every time I would do an Inktober where I'd draw, like I was like, oh, I missed a day or two. I got to do 2 in one day, or I want to get all of them done before the month even comes up.
Yeah.
So I got to get the prompt out and get them all ready. Just doing those and knocking them out, and it's like, this idea kind of sucks, but I actually have to move on because you can only do so much in one day, and the idea is to post them every day. So it's like, I think doing those exercises and repetition of an idea through thumbnails that's going to give you the best outcome of an idea. Like, I think I drew these rabbit cartoons for like a full sketchbook, and I'm like, redrawing their head shapes, redraw the head shape, redraw the head shape. Oh, this one's better slender. This one's better as like a bulkier character. So now I have the skinny tall rabbit and a bulkier rabbit.
Yeah.
And I only got to that point by like going through so many variations.
Yeah.
And trial and error.
I've tried to do an Inktober before, but I'm just so bad at like holding myself to a new routine, so I'll like do it for a couple days and then I'll fucking forget one day and I'll be like, well, it's done now. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't miss one.
Yeah, I don't think you need it for your arsenal though. I think you've gotten what Inktober could give you, but I would love to see some of the stuff that you could do for it.
I think Inktober is another good thing just for the sake of like engagement on social media, like I think people kind of like follow that hashtag or whatever.
That's what initially got me into it. And I'm like, okay, Inktober's coming up for the first time. I'm actually going to try it.
Yeah.
And then after 3 of them, I'm like, I see the benefit. I know, I realized what happened. I got better at posting. I got better ideation, like on the spot, loading my stock of drawings. That way I'm ready for the posts, which kind of leans into what my last topic is, which is growing online as an artist or musician. Do you have any tips on that?
I have no tips growing online as an artist. I do not know how to do it. I feel like a lot of my sort of following on the internet as an artist, like as a visual artist, is mostly like from physical networking, like people that I know in the real world. Yeah. I don't think that I have very many people that have just like found me on the internet and like my stuff. I don't know that I've tapped into that part of the internet. Maybe there's more than I think, but
we kind of just met through another artist, really.
Yeah,
in a sense, like,
yeah.
And I guess that takes communication. So like communicating, is a good way to like start on the ground floor of growing. Communicate with people in your field.
I think that if I really took some time to put as much effort into like creating a visual art like entity for myself that isn't like my Instagram and stuff is pretty like, this is just my personal day-to-day, like this is just what I do. If it's art, that's because I did art today,
Yeah, it is personal. Yeah,
like nobody that follows me for my art that they saw one day is gonna like that I posted a bunch of pictures of my friends and some food and my dog. Like maybe I know that there's something to like, oh, people like to see that you're a human being and they like to have like a little inside, like there's little social media marketing tips like that. But
I'm a fan. Other than being friends now, like I kind of see myself as a fan most days. I'm like, because we don't get to talk a whole lot, but I consider you a friend. But at the same time, I'm like, I look forward to whatever you do post. So I think you handle it well. I think it would be just stressful if you wanted to turn that around into what I do. It's freaking stressful.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that like there is a lot of stress that comes with like being in a band that gives a shit about their image on social media, like a song is coming out. I have to make so many pieces of content. Like I have to make like a reel to promote the song. I have to make the cover art. I have to make the Spotify animated canvas. I have to do all this stuff. And like, you don't have to do any of that. It's just that's like what's standardly expected of a band. And that's kind of like the precedent that we've set for ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a certain point where, that was what I was going to say. I was putting out a bunch of stuff that I was like, I'm just not exactly proud of it. So this last December is when I was like, I'm just not going to post unless I'm proud of what I've done. And like, there's no need to feed the algorithm if it's just something that I'm not personally proud of. Like, I can see the flaws in this art or this project or video because I'm not focusing on quality.
Mm-hmm.
And that's only hurting me because that's the standard I set for myself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be fine.
That's the other thing. I get discouraged when I post art and I just see diminishing returns, you know? Like, I made one of those videos, like I decided like, oh, the green screen videos work for massing. I'm going to make a green screen video like for my own personal art. And I did that thing
nice.
that was like, here's a poster that I made, blah, 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 blah,
yes,
blah, blah.
Because I sort of remember it.
Yeah. I'm
going to have to watch that one again, but I enjoyed that a lot. That was awesome.
Thank you. I used to just post the posters or whatever it was that I made, and then like a slide carousel where like the next one is the time lapse of me making it. And those were doing pretty well, I think, at first. And then they eventually just started getting less and less views, less and less likes. And people were telling me like, oh, you know, like if you want to have more engagement or like more interest on your social media, it has to be more focused on you and like your face and your personality, or like one or the other, you know, like you have to have more of yourself included, not just,
you gotta step up a lot.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I don't really necessarily want to put that much time into just posting the art that I made, but I tried that. And then like literally after the second time I made like the first green screen video of my art, and I think I did another one, and the next, like that second one, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it did like way less numbers than the first one. And it's not like we're talking big numbers on either of them, but it's like by comparison, it did not do as well. And I was like, well, now I don't know what to do. I don't feel motivated to do it again. I shouldn't, I don't know. I shouldn't feel that way about it. Like I should be persistent about it, but I guess
we do know that some of the algo is a bit random. It can be like, because I had one of the shorts from this show is currently at 1.2 million views, and it has 50,000 shares. Yeah, and it's about a mixed drink called the Gonster, and it's a bad edit too. I fucked up the edit, and you can see like the overlay image drip into the other frame. Okay, and so it's like, snap. And I didn't realize that to like 500,000 views. And it gets comments all day. So you have no idea what's going to pop off. Like that wasn't even like a good one.
Yeah.
Like I consider some of the other shorts I did where we actually teach people stuff like this to be better and more beneficial. But it turns out the one where you get to learn how to make this crazy looking mixed drink is much more viral and susceptible.
The most viral thing I've ever done on the internet was during 2020 when I somehow came up with like an effects chain on GarageBand that made me sound like Kylo Ren, and I was just saying heinous shit on TikTok as Kylo Ren, and people ate it the fuck up, and it's so cringe looking back on it. But some of those videos got like hundreds of thousands of likes. It was crazy. It was so stupid.
It's a creative experiment.
Yeah.
I've thought about doing an extra character, like a separate Instagram or something, to where I could either do a mask or a faceless channel or something like that. But like, this takes up all my time, so it's like, I don't beat myself up about wanting to do the ADHD ideas that I have constantly.
Dude, another idea, we haven't been doing it much lately, but when me and Rob were doing those like drawing Twitch streams, we started, like, we were thinking like, okay, how do we make these Twitch streams better? And a lot of people were like, you should have a camera on you, but that was going to be super complicated because we don't always do it together. And like, OBS stuff and blah blah blah. But eventually I realized like there are some like Twitch streamers that just have like an animated avatar, you know? And I learned how to do that on OBS with like a plugin, and you can kind of just like make a PSD file, and I made like one of me like holding my iPad, just like a cartoon, and when I talk it's like voice enabled so that whenever audio comes through, like you can have like an animation of your mouth moving.
It just swaps PNGs through like the audio.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is so sick. I've seen I got that idea from Jonan Vasquez. Do you know? He's the guy that made Invader Zim.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
He Twitch streams. So, yeah, it's sick. He Twitch streams the same kind of thing where he just kind of like talks to people and draws on like a canvas with them. And he's got like, I don't know if he has the same one anymore, but sometimes he has like these super crazy animated like voice enabled avatars with they just look fucking crazy. You should. That would be
awesome.
Yeah.
So are you still doing the are you planning on doing more of those? The streams?
Yeah, we're definitely planning on it. We're doing like I think we did 2 or 3 of them, and then other stuff started happening. I don't remember, like maybe we released some songs and our meetings were just filled with different goals. And then the past couple weeks we haven't really been meeting because things have been coming up. Rob just moved. But I'm sure we'll probably do that again for sure.
Nice. Well, that about covers it for today's topics. Please let the folks at home know where they can find you and anything else you have going on.
Like my address?
That's something you got going on.
Okay. Yeah, you can find me.
Drop a phone number.
You can find me at Heath.Holley with a 0 instead of an O on Instagram. You could find me on Twitter, Heath Holley without a dot, but still with the 0. You can find Massing on Instagram as MassingWV. You can find us on Twitter, Massing304. You can find Massing also, probably more importantly, on Spotify, Apple Music,
yes,
Amazon, Deezer. Whatever you listen to, we're probably there. What else do I do?
You guys have a few things on YouTube. So YouTube. Massing WV on YouTube as well.
Yeah, we got a couple videos, lyric videos, music videos, miscellaneous videos.
And then you got that show coming up August 30th.
Yeah,
right?
We got a show August 30th. If you live around Huntington, West Virginia, check out the Huntington Music and Arts Festival. Check out the Localization pop-up show. I'm involved in that. If you are an artist, submit to be a vendor. If you like music or if you like art, just show up. If you're on the internet at all, like the posts, follow those accounts. If you
get in there.
Yeah, if you're watching this video right now, give it a like, give it a little thumbs up, hit subscribe, hit the comments, say hit the comments, say wow,
fuck around and subscribe.
Yeah, maybe fuck around, subscribe, maybe hit the oh, what a good video. This video is so cool. This video is making me sweat. How did you get me so nervous about my future as an artist?
So many wacky cheese facts. Tell us your favorite wacky cheese fact. All right. That is a good wrap up. I dig it.
Hell yeah.
You heard him, folks. Get in on the ground floor. Follow us on everything. Go follow Heath on everything. Rob, Massing, all that good stuff. That is today's episode. Stay creative, folks.